Hey Barb, AJ here. Thanks for your patience with waiting for this website review, but we'll jump right to it. So when we start out looking for your name specifically, we kind of look down here to see, make sure you have your map listing and make sure that's all in order. And congratulations on getting up to 45 reviews. That's great. The one recommendation I would have is optimizing your replies a little bit more. And so you could be saying, using your kind of top keywords, which I'll get to in a second here, in your responses. And so it helps build relevance in your reviews as well. And so, a reply to, MJ Penfold would be, thanks for ordering fabric from our quilt shop. We really love being your provider, something like that. So you're using kind of a couple keywords in there. Looking at what your top keywords are, the top performers are quilts. Duvet cover comes up quite a bit as well, but I don't know if that kind of fits what you do. But quilt shop and quilt patterns are well searched as well. Sewing, so sewing machines, and then it kind of gets into the brands. So when you're looking at, optimizing your sales, having the word sewing machine is very important. And then fabric store as well. And so when you're looking at optimizing the words on your page, making sure that these words are there. And so when you're searching for something on Google, whenever you're searching for a local store in your area, you will almost always use your location in the search. So Quilt Shop Summerland would be kind of how I would find you. When looking, being found across the country, we need to focus on search without location included. Here, I've searched quilt shops, and we have a few non-local companies that are the best examples I can show you of comparisons. So the first one that pops up is the Quilt Store. These guys are located in Ontario. Then we have Fabricville, which actually does have quite a few locations across Canada. However, the URL I found when I was searching was not location-based, so it was the big overarching website. And then we have Runaway Quilting, which is located in Alberta. And so both the Quilt Store and Runaway Quilting are local to where they are, but they're also ranking nationally. And so when we're comparing your site to these three, there are a number of things that I see. Firstly, page count. And so this is the number of pages that Google says your site has. And the majority of that is going to be products. And that's totally fine. But when you're comparing your top competitors, these guys have, 7,650, where you have 1,100. These guys, it's going to be tough to compete with like a company like this. They have 28,000 pages. And then here we have over 6,000 pages. And so I think the opportunity comes here with, if you don't want to increase your inventory in your stock, that makes sense because I'm sure it becomes a bit of a headache to adjust prices and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that you can control, and we've kind of talked about it in the past, is your content. This is another opportunity to get written words on your site with hyper-relevant topics to your industry. So I know you already produce a lot of information, so it would probably be a quite easy shift to what you're already doing to put it in blog format as well. So all three of these sites do have a blog. I'm sure there was a blog on this one, just not seeing it. Anyways, these guys do for sure as well. And so the trick with what we do is looking at what the top competitors are doing and emulating that as best we can in hopes of actually surpassing their efforts. So these guys have tons and tons of blogs. And if you're looking for content ideas, coming to a site like this is a good idea, and you can get some kind of topic ideas and then write your own version of these topics. The next thing I noticed are their categories are broken down much further. What I mean by that is here you have machines, which is a category, that's great. But then everything else is just categorized under shop, where these guys have fabric in their own category, pre-cut fabric, embroidery, sewing machines, yeah. And so they've definitely got everything broken down more categorically. So yeah, the fabric and the quilting, yarn, sewing, patterns. Pre-cut fabric, yardage, supplies, patterns. So you can see that they've categorized it a bit further. And so I would say having your top 3 keywords broken up into their own categories would be a great move to do. And then having each of those categories have their own pages that give an overview would allow you the best opportunity to have those pages to rank. And so when we're looking at our best shot when someone's typing in, sewing machine, would be having the sewing machine heading here. But when I click this isn't an actual page. So I would have this be an actual page that kind of gives an overview of the sewing machines that you have available, and name that page sewing machine. So cherrytruthquilt.ca/sewing machines. And then do that with quilts or quilt patterns. And then fabric, or, what do they have here? Yeah, fabric or pre-cut fabric. So breaking that up would definitely be something I would recommend. The titles and descriptions of these sites are a little bit more optimized. So when I'm talking about that, that would be here and here. And so looking at yours, it's not too bad, but if you're looking to capture more clients from across the country, I would suggest shifting your title to reflect online and your description to both say Canada and online. And so when we're looking at these top 3 sites again, I mean, there's room for improvement with his too, because they're leaving a lot of extra space on the table here. But here they're saying quilt store, so that's one of their top keywords. And then here we're saying Canada. Fabricville, online fabric store, Canada, fabric store, online fabric store. Runaway quilting, online, Canada, quilting, fabric, pattern, sewing. Yeah, like these guys have done a great job, but I would suggest to them to improve their title as well. There's no reason why you can't put some more words in there. A place that does seem like there's room to do better than your competition is this. It doesn't seem super common in this industry, as your biggest competitors don't put a lot of effort here, but Google does highly value written content. So between getting this and getting links to your site is the way that Google knows what your site is about. And so I would recommend adding at least 500 words of content to your homepage and layering in variations of your keywords. There are creative ways to make words less visible on pages, so that could definitely play around with that and make so you keep the look of your website looking the way you want to. And when we're looking at your competitors, like words on the page is not super important, it doesn't seem like. But in everything that I do, content is the number one thing that most websites need more of, and is a way to beat your competitors quite easily. And so these guys kind of have the most. But here, this is a great example of hiding content on your site. And so Google can read all of this, but you're only actually seeing this as a user. And so you can use creative things like that to get more words on your page. So you're making sure you're saying quilts and quilt shops and quilt patterns and sewing machines and all this kind of stuff on your page, because that's how, at the end of the day, Google is going to know what you're up to. Included in this content sphere is headings and alt text. So it's just more ways of telling Google what your site is about. And so here I would say this is kind of your top heading of the page. And you don't have it tagged at all. So there's 6 tags. They're called H1 to H6, and it's based on the importance of the text. And so the very first thing Google reads on your website is the H1 tag. And so it's an opportunity to quickly tell Google, or give Google, your top kind of keywords. I believe it's here, yes. So this is their top heading, and it's tagged H1. And so this is what Google is reading right off the bat about this website. So quilting, Canada's online quilting store. I think that's great. The next thing is alt text. So it's what Google reads to people who have impairments or visual impairments or something like that. So Google knows what the image is and it can relay that information. And so they have an example here as well. And so you see here the alt. So this image is called the cat paw lint brush. And this image is called alignment tape, 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. So using tricks like this, you can get more content on your homepage along with more keywords about it all quilt pattern. I think these guys have done a really great job. So it kind of sums up the few thoughts I had about getting kind of your website repositioned. I know this was a lot, and it would be easy to go even deeper into competitor analysis to see where the gaps are in what keywords and phrases have the easiest chances of ranking the quickest. But for now, this will give you an idea of places to improve on and shift to. So let's find a time to get on another call soon to discuss where we go from here. All right, thanks, Barb.